Some people have called welfare the largest black feminist organization in U.S. history. I don't know if you were aware of that. It's been shaped by long-standing traditions and by changing economic and social conditions. See, back in 1870, more than half the nation's adult workers were farmers. When white women went to get welfare, the white man did not have to be out of the house. But when black folks start migrating north and whatnot, they figured out, we got to get that man out of there. So we'll give you a check for you and your kids, but you got to get the man out of there. Remember, they used to come in the house and check to make sure there was no evidence of a man living there? 1870, half the nation's adult workers were farmers. In the years that followed, however, industry developed rapidly and the economy tended increasingly to be characterized by industrialization, specialization, and urbanization. The result was a nation of more employees who were dependent on a continual flow of money income to provide for themselves and their families. White farmers. Local villages and towns recognized an obligation to aid the needy when family effort and assistance provided by neighbors and friends were not sufficient enough. Gradually, measures were adopted to provide aid on a more organized basis, usually through cash. These cash allowances to certain categories among the poor, a long and paternalistic history of punitive regulations. As I just explained to you, the classic example of this was the man in the house rule enforced throughout the 1960s for welfare recipients, including those in public housing. So if the government was giving you housing and giving you a check, that nigga got to go. The man in the house rules sought to enforce social norms about who was morally deserving of welfare. Specifically, the rules prevented adult males from residing with the mother and the children who received the assistance. The rules sought to ensure only women with children who at the time were expected not to work benefited from welfare. Now, if there was a man in the house, this was viewed as undeserving of assistance because grown-ass black men were expected to provide for their families through work. The man in the house rules enforced through highly invasive inspections forced many families to choose between maintaining welfare support and keeping their family intact. Racist as usual. Everything in America is racist. So whenever white folk tell you, why you always play the race card, every institution